always sold, and it's getting more and more overt. But there's this other aspect that I've been noticing, and it's OnlyFans. In that OnlyFans, at first, it was so easy for people to paint it as like this great thing where they're going to empower the creators and they're going to make the porn industry safer, and they're going to like let the women be in control. And then OnlyFans started doing PG content where they would take porn stars and OnlyFans creators and they would have them do normal TV shows. And this is happening right now. So it's like a travel show or like a cooking show, but it's like a porn star doing a cooking show, so that then you can have this porn star on TV on mainstream daytime television, and you can have your 5-year-old, your 8-year-old, your 12-year-old watching a porn star cook food, and it's totally normal. And that is like subversion 101, is start to just blur the lines more and more and get more and more people, make it normalized, make it part of culture and society in the exact same way that LGBTQIA plus is just trying to bleed into our schools and into our like as though it's just normal. And I pray that we are waking up in time.
Yeah. So, I mean, he said it the perfect way. They are trying to blur the lines in all spaces, all spaces. And we saw this back in 2023 or 2024 when President Biden tried to, do this Trans Day of Visibility and then also push Easter. Again, it's this kind of coupling the demonic, the occult with normal, traditional, and what he tried to do here, biblical, faith-based types of events to make this a normal thing. What are your thoughts on that idea, Michelle?
I'm looking at the chat even, and I was thinking the same lines as the S-Files, and she was talking about when she first noticed the White House being lit up for Pride Month under Obama. And it's not just that you have to sneak it in little here and there. It's seemingly non-political. You're just supporting a group, and then you're doing it over and over. And then even that group is hijacked, and it goes to an extreme. And that's the same as, Satan is tricky that way. He likes to plant little tiny seeds until they grow, and you didn't even know how it got there. Like, how far back do we have to go to clean this mess up? Is it too late? It's can we close Pandora's box and put some of the stuff back in? The answer is no, but can we wake up and stop this? Yes, I think we can.
Absolutely. And the first step to doing that is calling it out. When they try to, because what they do is, when we say, no, we don't want drag queens reading to our kids in the public library, well, then they say they're not reading it. They're just reading fairy tale books. They're just, nobody's going to read to them if they don't read to them, and what's your problem? They're just drag queens. There's nothing wrong with them. Well, yes, again, it's this idea of coupling this sex symbol, this debauchery. Drag queens started back in San Francisco, that whole drag show culture. It was very sexualized. It was nasty. It was not for children. So, when we say we don't want this in our public libraries reading to our children, they make it seem like we're crazy because, they're just reading regular books. What's wrong with that? No, it's a drag queen doing it. This is not right. So we got to continue to push back. Same thing with these books, with these pornography in the books in our public libraries, in our school libraries, where they're saying, it's just a book and this is all part of society. No, children should not be reading these items. They should not be taking in these types of topics. But they make it seem like we're crazy for suggesting this stuff, for pushing back.
Yeah, we're wild for saying no. And you're right, it was adult entertainment. Adult things were adult things, and that's what's scary. And I think what's scary in what he just said, the gentleman, again, I'm gonna have to look up his name, but that having porn stars read or having them doing cooking shows, kids know their names. All that is a quick Google search until they're diverted to the wrong website, which pulls up, yes, in fact, that same person who was cooking, but now they're not cooking. Right. We know what they're doing.
Right.
And our kids can get past those fail safes. Not every state has the safeguards that prevent you from entering websites without putting in a birth date. But come on, if this is a 12-year-old, 10-year-old, they know how to do this now. It's beyond dangerous, and they know what they're doing.
Exactly. But they are so slick. They are so slick. And this is what has gotten me kind of upset sometimes with conservatives, because we have just conceded the culture a lot of times, because we say, oh, well, we don't want any part in that. And, even with stuff like our broadcast, this is why we're so important. And this is one of the reasons why we decided to do this, is because we need to talk about this stuff. We need to speak against this culture, these things with biblical truths, and not be afraid to be called names. Because if we don't, then we concede this ground, and then they continue to push it, not just on, people within that culture, but to the masses, to our children. And this is why programs like ours are so important. So please continue to like this broadcast, folks. It really helps to push our show out to the masses here on YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe. But yeah, you were right on with that, Michelle. This is what they're trying to do. They're trying to sneak this perversion in, even on Instagram. Have you all noticed lately that if you follow certain pages, and it may just be pages for cooking or for medical advice, every now and then they will put out some type of pornographic video. It's really weird. So this has happened to me like twice now, where I've subscribed to a page on Instagram just about random stuff, something, some type of, tells you how to do something, but then they'll throw in some type of pornographic video. I don't understand why they do that.
They did that. I was angry, and it's some of these Google apps and games. So I have young children. My youngest is just turned 7 now, but I'd let them play little games, like pop the bubble games. They popped up the games, and because we didn't pay for that particular game, they have the little pop-up ads. There was an ad on there that was like some type of crazy bondage. I looked at that thing and said, oh, I literally my instinct was to be upset with my kid. And I was like, whoa, this is a kid that wasn't reading at that level. I'm like, oh no, where did this even come from? And how do you click off that? Because kids are just clicking. They're just pressing buttons. All these little pop-ups are showing in there, and they know that this is a children's game. Why in the world would any kind of adult content pop up on a children's game feed?
Right. This is why I was saying I agreed with Ron DeSantis and others who were trying to get rid of TikTok, and then also trying to get this type of stuff off of the internet. Because no matter how much you try to safeguard your kid, to me, it's pornography. It's pornography, and it should not be available to kids under 18. I think that all this stuff needs to go behind all the websites, and all of it needs to, go behind some type of password protected internet where they cannot do that. They can't be on Instagram and Twitter or X and all these types of places where it could just pop up, even if your kid is on a child-friendly website or page. It shouldn't be that way. But they're doing this because they're trying to sneak it in subtly, tease this type of stuff to children, to teenagers. Hopefully getting them to even just take a look at this type of items. And the crazy thing is, back in the old days, if you were to give a pornographic video or pornographic magazine to anyone under 18, you could get locked up. Now you can do it right on the web, on the internet, and there's no consequence. There's no consequence.
I mean, we have to also face the reality that here in the United States, we are the largest I want to address this safely. I mean, we're the biggest traffickers. We pay for the most underage trafficking in the world right now. We're the buyers, we're the sellers. Here in the US, the money is there. So they own these industries. they are in power, and which is why, again, it's important for podcasts, people like us, average everyday people, when we stand up, sometimes we are that voice and that courage that our legislators need to actually write the right bills. Right. How crazy is that? They live in fear of these bigger people, bigger entities, big boys with the money and their next election, that they do the wrong thing over and over until enough of us say enough's enough. And that's what we're seeing under this administration. That was what we saw when the election hammer, when November came down and we said, we're done. We're done.